Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Ryan and welcome to Screenshot Saturday for January 28th, 2017. I've got 5 indie games here that I have pulled from the masses to highlight for you here. This is by no means a complete list. It would be absolutely impossible for me to cover every single game that is out there. So as always, I invite you guys to sift through the hashtag for yourselves and see what's coming on down the pipeline. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we have For Last Things, currently in development by Joe Richardson. It's a point-and-click adventure game made with Renaissance-era paintings, accompanied appropriately by classical music that was prominent in that time, which obviously aims to ironically underscore the oft-whimsy portrayal of the otherwise serious works of art seen in the game's trailer. The game is about sin and the 4 last things, those things being death, judgment, heaven, and hell. Mr. Richardson eloquently describes his game as being kind of like if Monkey Island was developed in 16th century Flanders by a time-traveling Monty Python fanboy. Keep an eye out for this one as it nears its February 2017 release. Next up, we have A New Distant Light, developed by Steve Copeland and Jeff Spoonhour. Together, they form Resonator. A quick visit to the game's website reveals that A New Distant Light is an open-world action exploration game for PC and console platforms. You are a child with limited resources, waking up on a distant alien moon, 20 light-years from Earth. You must carry out a mission of critical importance. You'll battle, puzzle, and journey through an exotic and dangerous world, as well as seek out game-changing equipment, upgrades, vehicles, and companions to expand your options for combat and exploration. Now, of note is the degree of experience between Jeff and Steve, having worked on titles such as BioShock 2, Borderlands 2, and Saints Row 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as more. With that said, it's clear how much of that experience is being poured into A New, as the game looks absolutely gorgeous, and early promotional footage displays their commitment to offering as diverse a gameplay experience as their press release indicates. They've also gotten a hold of Wilbert Rodgett II, recipient of numerous DICE and Gang Awards, to compose the soundtrack, a portion of which can be heard in the background right now. Resonator has a Kickstarter planned for A New, with the launch of the campaign scheduled for February 14th. Next up is Echo Lake, developed by Capsule 3. It's a single-player puzzle adventure game that puts you in the role of 9-year-old Kit as you explore the lake in your rowing boat. You'll utilize a unique telescope as you discover constellations that merge space with nature, and you'll catch fish and command sea life to expand your abilities and uncover secrets scattered throughout the lake. Clive Lawrence of Capsule 3 initially began the project with the goal of creating a thoughtful experience where the themes of space and nature would exist harmoniously. What better way is that harmony expressed both in-game and in the real world than in the beautiful reflection of the clear night sky on a still lake? Currently, gameplay seems to consist of the player using the mouse to draw constellations in the water, with the goal of ensuring everything is lit by the time you finish connecting the dots, so to speak. Some of the later puzzles look to be quite complex. Echo Lake launched on Steam Early Access just yesterday with what it calls the Astronomer Alpha, which consists of 100 of these puzzles. Capsule 3 intends to build on this in the coming months with new modes and features, so puzzlers should keep an eye on this one. Here we have Ghost Song, developed by Matt White of Old Moon Games. Ghost Song is the product of Mr. White's self-described frustration at the lack of a new 2D Metroid game in the last decade. The game wears those inspirations on its sleeve as it features similar level design as well as Samus's signature somersault jump. But after a successful Kickstarter campaign in August of 2013, the project expanded in scope to include ideas seen in other games such as Phantasy Star and most notably Dark Souls. Ghost Song looks like it's shaping up to be a solid entry into the Metroidvania genre, but more specifically, I think it will serve as just what fans of the original 2D Super Metroid have been demanding for so long. One thing I noticed in particular about the game was its art style, which possesses a sort of 90s aesthetic that almost makes it seem as if the game is being displayed on an old television, with, widescreen capabilities. Of note is the game's publisher, Adult Swim Games, who by now have developed a track record of picking up not only good games, but difficult ones at that. And Mr. White has stressed as much about his game, saying that he subscribes to a tough but fair philosophy, with optional areas in the game that may prove to be a tad harder than the rest. There's no release date just yet, but there's a trove of footage and GIFs for you to check out over on the game's website, so go have a look. We're ending with a bit of speculation today as I highlight a game I've been following the last couple months, codenamed Kaiser. Created by French developer Les Studios des Ténèbres, Kaiser appears to be an isometric action game that, if I were to guess, takes place sometime in the midst of World War I. Enemy character models on display wear uniforms that resemble those worn by German soldiers at that time, their faces covered by gas masks. The protagonist herself wears a uniform that appears to have French origin, the most standout features being the bright red trousers and double-breasted greatcoat. Finally, the game's codename Kaiser actually means emperor in German, and as we all know, it was the assassination of Emperor Franz Joseph I's nephew that caused the outbreak of World War I. I look forward to finding out more about this one as details become available. The game's graphical style is particularly attractive, with the optimistic colors and lampoon characterizations poised to be juxtaposed with what could be a darker tale of a young girl in German-occupied France, a girl for whom work in the factories is not an option. I should stress again that I'm only speculating, but that speculation comes from genuine interest in what's been shown thus far, and so I've selected it to be among today's highlights. That's it for me this week. Stay tuned for next week, and as I screw up the end of this completely.